One day each year, the sacrifice and tragedy of war is commemorated. Remembrance Day is also about the tragedy of ignorance and apathy. A national survey this week showed young people couldn't answer basic questions about Canada's war experience. There's an attempt to do something about that by making the past part of the present, even if it's just for one day. Students in Tillsonburg, near London, Ontario, were given a sense of what it's like to live and die in the trenches. Mike Wise has the story.
No one's helping.
Hey, Ryan!
Just don't hit my hand. Oh!
The twine doesn't have the sting of real barbed wire, but it does add a feel of authenticity as these high school students dig their trenches far from the battlefields of Europe, preparing for a war they'll be marked on. Half the students will fight for Canada, the other half for Germany.
And we came out here like last weekend and we worked on these trenches, and we came out after school on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Get to it.
There are 130 students taking part altogether, guided by a handful of teachers and parent volunteers. The Canadian flag might not be historically accurate, but the Army rations are.
You have a look at there, you have good, nutritious meat and crackers. Nice, plain, down-to-earth food.
You can't be serious. No, I'm serious, man. I ain't eating that cat food.
You're supposed to eat it with your crackers as like a pate. It makes
a pate? Oh, this is joke, man.
Once they're fed, the soldiers get down to preparing for battle, writing one last letter home.
I will be heading out.
And making their weapons. Dough balls for bullets and bags of flour for grenades. Even before the first attack, there's some casualties from friendly fire.
Well, I think that they're a video violence generation. They have a lot of glamorization about what war is all about. So one of our goals is to show them that war is not romantic. It's chaotic and it's horrible.
You will advance close order, almost shoulder to shoulder in line.
To make that point, the students will recreate a costly effort, the Battle of the Somme, July 1st, 1916. And going in, they're getting the same instructions the original 1st Newfoundland Regiment received.
We have been told at headquarters that the wire has been cut, the German wire is cut. We have been pounding them with artillery day and night for 6 days. It's going to be a cakewalk, Canadians. You're going to walk your way to glory.
The troops are upbeat as they assemble in no man's land, unaware of the tragedy before them.
There was no strategy at the Battle of the Somme in 1916. They were given orders from the British High Command, General Douglas Haig, and they followed those orders, and they were slaughtered.
Haig ignored warnings that his information might be wrong and sent thousands into battle and into waiting German machine guns.
Down!
To recreate it, the teachers use water guns to mow down their students.
Down! Crash!
Line after line, wave after wave.
Hit! Hit! Hit!
Few soldiers make it anywhere near the German students in their trenches. The real battle saw 60,000 Allied troops killed or wounded in just 3 hours, the most bloody day in British and Canadian military history.
Medics! Medics!
Of the 780 Canadians who fought, only 60 returned home, the same number of students who took part in the exercise.
And when they got to the German wire, they were wrong. The wire was not cut, and you discovered that, didn't you? So I'd like some responses to you now.
When we first started, I didn't really understand why you would say we're all going to die. But then you start squirting these things at us, and I was like, okay, we are going to die, you know? And I realized how unfair it was.
550 bullets a minute were pouring out of those German Maxim guns, just like that water was pouring out of those super squirters.
A hard-fought lesson learned, the students settle in for some more Army rations, beef stew and crackers. They'll relax with a nighttime movie as a calm comes to the battlefield, at least for now. It's 3 a.m. and the Canadians get their revenge.
Get down!
A surprise nighttime attack on the German trenches with the help of some Canadian Reserve troops from nearby London, Ontario.
Hey, we gotta bring the prisoners back to our base, eh? And interrogate them in the room.
What do you want out of them?
Oh, everything.
Ask them about everything about the Germans.
Mission accomplished. The two sides agree to a ceasefire so they can try to get some sleep. Dawn arrives as the sun rises over the battlefield. It's 6 a.m. and the Germans are cranky.
It's hard to sleep when after an attack by the freaking Canadians with their flares and their freaking guns. After that, can't sleep.
The night has had a chilling effect for the soldiers on both sides. As they grab breakfast, they're no longer joking.
I've been up since 3 o'clock yesterday morning. And I'm running on nothing, and I couldn't sleep last night, and I'm shaking because I can't stop being cold.
I don't think I could do this. This is pretty hard. If I had to do this day in and day out.
There's no time to rest before the next battle.
Okay, is there anyone here who does not have a gas mask?
I don't know. Do you want me to check for mine?
Go get it.
Go get her. You're going.
Get it now.
This time it's Ypres, Belgium, and the first major battle fought by Canadian troops. April 19th, 1915. The Germans advance with a new weapon, deadly chlorine gas, simulated by some well-placed smoke bombs.
You guys, anybody without a gas mask, you're dead. You're dead. Ready? Now!
Sound effects pouring from loudspeakers add to the effect as the Canadians try to hold off the German advance.
The Germans are using classic tactics from the March 1918 offensive, also known as the Ludendorff offensive, where they almost broke the Allied lines and won the war at the last minute.
Some Germans do make it to the Canadian trenches, but it's a short-lived victory.
Heads up. Gotta get him over here. Clear the table. Over with the dead. Yep. Ready?
The wounded are taken to the field hospital for a real glimpse at the reality of war.
Gotta get him on his side. Get me some gauze. We got a bleeder here.
Oh, my arm's severed by the barbed wire. Oh.
Hey, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm in agony.
Okay, I think we're gonna have to lose the arm.
No!
Those who are able to fight again are treated first. The critically injured are already assumed to be dead.
Right now, we're waiting to be processed by the medics. So we're slowly dying.
Once they've recovered, the students prepare for their final exercise, and this one has an audience.
It provides some reality,
Yes.
and a great deal of effort. And that's the way you learn. You don't do it just by skimming through a book and hoping you're going to pass an exam. Well, this is tremendous.
Portrays how horrible war is, and it's a lesson to the young people that war is not something that we should glorify, but we should remember it.
The final exercise isn't a battle, but a victory march. Both armies marching together, giving the students a chance to absorb what they just went through.
I learned like all about the war, like how the men in that, like they're so courageous in that. It makes a whole new perspective on the war that I've got from this.
You kind of felt a bit of the way that they felt back then because you're sitting in a trench all alone and you don't know what's gonna happen.
There are no winners in these battles, but if there's a victory, it's being claimed by the teachers.
Usually history class kind of sucks. It's dry and you fall asleep many times, but no, this was exciting and we didn't actually sleep at all.
Likewise, CBC News, Tillsonburg, Ontario.
Still ahead on the CBC Evening News.